And we are live. I hope so. Welcome. Welcome to the Soul Infused Monday show. And because it always takes a minute for people to join in, I want to make sure that everybody is seeing and hearing us clearly. And today I have a special guest. And before I even introduce him and we get started, let me know if you guys hear us. Okay, Natalie says, good morning. Are you hearing us well? Seeing us? Fantastic. Okay, always excited. Fantastic. So, welcome again to the Soul Infused Monday show. Today with a special guest, a dear friend of mine, and a personal empowerment coach, Patrick Prohaska. Patrick, welcome to the Soul Infused Monday show. I'm so happy you're here today.
Oh my gosh, so am I. Thank you so much. It's always a joy to connect with you, and I just love your energy. So this is a fabulous place to be today.
Yes, I love it. I'm so happy. So let's see who's here. Alyssa is here from Chicago. And guys, yeah, leave us a message, not a message, I always say that. Leave us a comment, say hello, tell us where you're from, and you can also ask some questions in between or later to either one of us. So, and if you guys don't know me or the show, my name is Sonia de la Torre, and this Soul Infused Monday show is every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern, to help you to get a good start to your week, uplifted, positive, inspired, and soul infused. And today, Patrick and I share something. We love to empower people and we love to help them heal their life, correct? And Patrick, because my community doesn't know you most likely, do you mind sharing a little bit about you? Just, like maybe the most important reason why you do what you do.
Yes, absolutely. So the reason I am currently a life coach and an energy healer is because at a certain age, when I was maybe in my mid-40s, I began to realize just how much of my life was being played out based on other people's expectations. And I did some self-analysis. I came to realize that almost everything in my life was programmed into me. It was all, basically phony limitations imposed on me by other people. And I abandoned my corporate career. I was a upscale restaurant manager and decided I'm just not playing that game anymore. I'm going to live life on my terms from now on. And this is what I'm doing. So
I love that so much, and people who know me can relate. And I just want to say hello to a few people. Some people say hello to you, Jennifer, Ida, Amanda, Shirley, Jessica. Welcome to the Soul Infused Monday. Send Patrick some love. Click the hearts button, click the like button. And Patrick, what you just said, what I love about is and who in here can relate that we live upon other people's expectations, that we somehow don't really live our own life, even though that sounds kind of weird because we are our own life. But how many of us don't live upon our own true self, truth, and what we truly desire? So, and to live on your own terms is so crucial. Freedom.
yeah.
For me, freedom is one of the most important values. So
Yes.
Because you transitioned, and I love that we have some male energy here today. What do you see are the most were the most important pieces or steps you took in order for you to get in a place where I live on my own terms?
Yeah, well, what's funny is I wouldn't recommend the way I did it. What I did, so the way that I did it was I simply jumped into the abyss. One day I woke up and I said, oh my God, my entire life is a lie. I'm not doing this anymore. I quit my job with nothing lined up to replace it, and I just dove into the abyss. And it was a very, very rocky road for me to get from there to where I am here, but I learned a lot of lessons along the way. So what I normally do with my clients is I help them become introspective. I help them to recognize when they're living somebody else's dream, when they're living their life on somebody else's terms, and slowly begin to take control of their life and move forward on their own. So Yeah, so I ended up homeless a couple of times. It was not a good experience, but it was a very rapid experience for me. So I like to take a gentler approach with my clients. So essentially, the most important lesson that I learned, or the most important realization that I had, is that every single one of us within this collective consciousness that we live in, every single one of us creates our own experience in the world through our thoughts, our beliefs, our judgments, our expectations, our traumatic memories, and so forth. Now, a lot of those thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and expectations are not actually ours. They're things that we picked up from other people. So most of us end up living our lives not feeling disempowered, but ultimately it's not a really empowered way to live if you're living through somebody else's lens or you're looking at the world through somebody else's eyes. So I help people strip all of that away, strip away all the phony limitations, all the fake stuff, all of the things that they thought that they believed because somebody else told them, and develop their own core belief systems, whatever they are. I don't try to shape people in my image. I try to shape them in whatever their own image is and support them in that. So it's pretty, yeah,
There's a delay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just
So,
saying, I was just saying that what I hear you saying, and people hear that from me too, is like, it's not about getting a new conditioning. It's really to peel off the layers of the things that are not you, connecting who you truly are, and then live on your own terms. Because I think it's what to just emphasize what you said. And I don't know if everybody knows that, because for us it's so normal. So we assume everybody knows that, but maybe they don't.
they don't.
No, they don't, right? When we say, hey, that's actually not you. And I was identified with it too. So I thought I was that horrible person, not good enough, fat and ugly, and you know, all of these things. But it's literally that we are conditioned and programmed, and it's like a lens that we look through, and it's an energetical phenomena as well. So that when you look in the mirror and what you see is not through the eyes of your soul or true self, whatever you want to call it, it's the programming that we all got into our perspective, right? And I don't think that everybody understands that or knows that. And only knowing that, then when you feel a certain way, if you can remind yourself for a moment, that's not who I am. And I might not know who I am right now, right? Mm-hmm. Because it takes time, right? But
yes. Hey. Yeah. So when I'm working with somebody, I don't tell them who they are. And I know from experience, and also just, you know, generally, if I were to say to somebody, oh, that's not you, don't do that, that's not you, you know, their response is probably going to be, well, who are you to tell me who I am? So what I do is I help people figure out for themselves who they are. And one of the easiest ways to do that, or one of the most important steps along the way, is to strip out as much as possible the stuff that they borrowed from other people that just doesn't work for them. So really the mechanism for identifying what isn't truly yours is linked to the question of what works in your life. I don't necessarily try to strip out the false beliefs. That's not what I'm going for. I'm trying to help people strip out the limiting beliefs. Because in my mind, ultimately, there's a connection between what's true and what's limiting or what's liberating. So I don't try to look at people or help people identify, well, this is false and this is true, this is a lie and this is the truth. I go about it by getting them into alignment with what empowers them and what limits them. And most of the belief systems that we picked up as children are very, very limiting beliefs. They're all you're not allowed to do that because you're male, or you're not allowed to do that because you're female, or you're obligated to do this because of your gender, or whatever the case is. So it's really whether a belief system is limiting or liberating, that's where the rubber hits the road for me.
Yeah. And you know, you said something, and I do that with my clients a lot too. It's really about shifting from a disempowered space to an empowered. And can you, for someone, I mean, the people who are watching are very, I mean, does this resonate with you guys? Leave a comment. And if you have a question for Patrick, because you can ask me any question every Monday, but Patrick is only here today. So if you have a specific question for Patrick, and let us know if this resonates with you. Shirley said, makes sense, resonates. Yes, absolutely. It's about shifting from a disempowered space to an empowered space. And there are different ways of doing that, obviously, right? You work with your clients and I like to see the approach of we are adding something into ourselves that it's more of our truth. And then we go upon kind of like erasing or whatever you want to call it, reprogramming or the limiting beliefs. And for someone that's watching and says, oh man, that resonates with me, I still feel like I'm not living myself and I'm still very worried about other people's opinions and other people's expectations. What is one advice or tip that you can give them to do a small shift that they can start doing today?
Oh, wow. Just a million different things. I would say that the most important thing to start with is awareness. And the one thing that will be most helpful to be aware of is a recognition that your source of power is inside you. It's not external. And most of us go through our lives looking for external solutions to our problems. You know, we look for what we can change in our environment to create a condition that is more pleasant for us. But if you really, truly believe that you create your reality out of your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations, and so forth, then the most powerful way to change your world is to change yourself from the inside out. So if you can change your belief systems and recognize that whatever you believe to be true about the world, whatever you believe to be the limiting factors in the world, that those are really just belief systems, they're not anything that's true in reality until you make it true, then you can begin to have control. And it's a lot easier to turn inward and create new conditions within your life because you've changed your beliefs and your thoughts than it is to manipulate external circumstances and get people lined up and agreeing with you. Most of us go through life playing a chess game, and we're like moving the chess pieces around on the board in front of us. When really, if you just recognize that your power is inside of you, it's not in the queen on the chessboard, then you can much more rapidly take control of your life and shape it to the way that you would like. So the limitations. Now, another thing to be aware of is because we are human beings in a physical three-dimensional body, there are certain limitations that are built into this experience. We chose to be embodied humans, and the human physical body does have certain limitations. But most of the other limitations, beyond what's locked into the physical body, most of it is just lies that we've been taught as children. And I have lots and lots of memories of limiting things that my parents would say. One of my father's favorite expressions throughout my entire childhood was, "We don't have that kind of money." And that just got programmed into me. No matter, for years and years, no matter what I wanted to do with my life, I had this belief system that told me that there was a certain type of money that I have that allows me to buy food, but there's a different kind of money that's for things that really bring joy to people. And it stuck me in this really limiting place for a long time. And it's just one example of millions of things.
I'm just curious to hear from others, because I know that's one limiting belief that I think so many struggle with, like the money piece, right? But who can resonate with it? I have a question for you too from Shirley. But why I was smiling, I was like, it's always so great to share other people's voices, because one of the things that I'm really known for is to do deep transformational inner work, and really that self-empowering piece that you are 100% responsible for your life, and you are the creator for your life, and it's not the outside. So I was just smiling because it's so great. So guys, if you hear this, it's not on, like, it's good to hear it from someone else as well.
Yes. So, and thank you for saying that. And one thing that people need to bear in mind, or one thing that people often don't realize or recognize, is there is a difference between responsibility and blame. So just because it's true, it's your responsibility to take control of your life, it doesn't mean that you're to blame if things haven't gone well up until now. It's a call for you to step into a deeper awareness and begin to take control from this point on. So, yeah.
So, Patrick, I have a question here from the audience, and I'm going to ask, Shirley is asking, are there any routines to follow to get to that awareness?
Well, yes and no. So, I have to say that I'm not really a ritual-oriented person. I believe that there are thousands upon thousands of things that you can do on a daily basis, and you can choose whatever one is, or whatever 10 or 20 are most enjoyable to you. But I would say that it's very, very important to develop an ability to quiet your mind. So meditation really is very, very important, as well as breathing exercises, which both are aspects of meditation. The ability to calm your mind shuts down that monkey mind, and it turns off all of those voices that are in your head that were never yours in the first place. And you can begin to see from a broader perspective. And when you're doing the breath work or the breath exercises associated with meditation, it calms down your central nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system is quite often in a continuous state of fight or flight or panic or anxiety, and the breathing exercises pulls you out of that. If you're in a very low level state of fear energy at all times, it's really impossible, or it's really difficult for you to have perspective, and it's difficult to have patience. So whatever form of meditation you do, it doesn't have to be sitting on a mat with your legs crossed. It can be hiking, it can be running, it can be taking a hot bath. There are thousands of different ways to meditate, and whatever you enjoy the most, that's the thing to do.
Yeah, and that makes me smile too, because my people know that I'm constantly reminding them to meditate. And constantly getting there. I'm a huge advocate for meditation, and meditation
I'm kind of picking up. I sense that for some people who are listening right now, meditation it's a task. And it's really not meant to be a chore. It's not you sit down and then you take control of your mind and you try to force it to not think anything extraneous. It's not that at all. You just ease into it. You just simply flow into the meditation. And if it's difficult, or if it feels like a chore, it means you're trying too hard. The meditation isn't a chore. It can be something that's just, you just sit down, close your eyes for a couple of seconds, and just bliss out. That's meditation.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that. And at the same time, like, I agree with you. And for me, meditation is joy. I have the greatest joy. However, that didn't happen overnight. And in the beginning, it was a task for me. So I think if you can combine both and to really see it as, don't try so hard. So thank you for saying that, because I always say, don't try so hard. Do it in a way, and at the same time keep consistent, because you're never good at something in the beginning.
Yeah. And what's
overnight,
and being consistent, eventually it will be so second nature to you that you don't even have to think about it at all. No matter what you're doing will turn into meditation for you after a while. Which just means that you're in flow, you're surrendering to whatever activity you're doing, you're not having your mind jump around thinking about all the different things that you're not doing and all the pressures that are building up. It helps keep you focused on the task at hand, and it empowers you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I so agree with you. And time is nearly over. I know time flies when you enjoy and have fun. And Patrick, would you be open? I have one more question here, if you can answer in a minute. Otherwise, I don't know, Patrick, maybe you're open to go into the chat later, answer maybe some of the questions, comments. Alyssa has a question. Alyssa says, I have been working on this for years, and I'm very aware. She is, because I know her very well. However, the old voices based in fear are there for me a lot of the time. I have been working on compassion towards these parts of myself, working hard to navigate what's real and not real. What else do you suggest? But just short, and maybe you can go into the chat later and go a little.
Yeah. So very quickly, I would just say that a lot of times our fears, especially our limiting fears, are locked in place by past traumas. And when we're reminded of whatever the original trauma was, we actually re-experience that trauma, and that sends us into a fear response. Yeah. So you would, there's so many ways to go with this. Trauma clearing is a big topic, but I would say that if you slip into that fear and you're recognizing that you're slipping into that fear, just also recognize that that fear is not irrational. It does serve a purpose, but it's not serving you. So it's limiting you. So breathe into it and push it aside.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Patrick. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to leave a comment. We can go back later, check in on you. And also, if you have more additional questions, or if you want to get deeper, feel free to send Patrick a message or myself, and we're happy to support you in any way we can. So thank you so much, Patrick, for being here today. Do you have last words? Just one word.
Yeah, for this week and for always, but do whatever brings you joy. You know, just step into joy. A lot of times we forget to have fun, and you know, there's no reason for that. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, do something that brings you joy. It fits very well with just even something that I shared the other day. So, and because I always like to encourage people to take action, I want you to take action. Leave a comment below. Don't only think about it. Leave a comment and share the one thing that you're gonna do that will bring you more joy. Why? Because when you are doing it, you move the energy already towards it, and it helps you also to get more accountable when you declare it. So if you're watching the replay or if you're watching it live, leave a comment below, say, this is the one thing I want to do that will bring me joy. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day, Patrick. And you guys.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And, how you start the week sets the tone for the rest of your week. How you start your day starts the determines the rest of your day. So as Patrick said, do something that brings you joy. Meditate, breathe, dance, whatever it takes. And come back next Monday for a new episode of Selling Tears Monday. And sending you much love. I love you, appreciate you, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.